During the sale of your house, if you want to negotiate from a position of power and you want to get the best price and the best terms for you, then it is critical that you understand your buyer and understand their motivations to buy. Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Matt Stone with Coldwell Banker Realty here in Orem, Utah. And today we're going to be talking about step number 8 in the For Sale by Owner Marketing Toolkit, which is knowing and understanding your buyer. Okay. When you sell a house, this is a two-sided deal. Okay. It's not just you and all your wants and likes and personalities and things like that. You're working with someone else on the other side of it who's looking out for their best interest. Your objective during the showings and the previews and negotiations and getting to close is going to be to kind of set the pace and manage the expectations of both parties in this transaction. The best way to do this, you already know about yourself, but you need to understand the buyers, and you need to understand their motivations and their mindset so that you can negotiate effectively and get the best terms and the best price for you. So how do you do this? Well, as an agent, one of the ways that I do it, the best way, is to have good conversations with the other side. Now, if they're represented, then I talk to the agent. I don't skip over that point and talk to the buyers directly. But when you're doing a for sale by owner house, a lot of times you have the opportunity to talk directly to the buyers, get to know them, and find out what their motivations are to buy. So what questions should you ask? Well, here are some that I ask and I think are very important in understanding the buyer's motivation. The first one is, do they need to move into a house quickly? Did they just move here? Did they relocate? Did somebody burn their house down? Did they have to move suddenly? Are they in dire straits, or do they have plenty of time and they're looking around? How fast do they need to move into a house? Depending on that answer, could work for or maybe a little bit against you. If they need to move in fast and you need a lot of extra time to move out, that might not be the best situation. If they are very flexible and you'd like to get out of there quickly, again, it might put the negotiating power, leaning on their side a little bit. So I'm not saying that you don't work with a buyer who doesn't line up with you perfectly, but it's certainly important to understand, their motivations and their timeline, so to see, how it's going to work for you or how it might work against you. Second thing that I always like to know, and when I'm showing a house, I kind of get a sense of this, is when they're walking through, do they want this house, the house that they're going to buy, to be like picture perfect and everything just right before they move in? Or are they the type of people who like to roll up their sleeves and, do a lot of the work themselves to make it their own and make it the way that they wanted? Depending on what kind of buyer you got and what their motivations are, it's going to help you in the negotiations. If they need to have everything perfect, well, maybe you've got some connections and you're willing to do that work. Maybe you're willing to hold fast on your purchase price, but get the repairs done or the updates done. If it's somebody who is willing to do a lot of work themselves, well, that allows you to play to that. Maybe you're willing to adjust the price a little bit and not have to make repairs that you'd already budgeted in. Or maybe you can talk about how easy it would be to fix this or repair that or upgrade something. So again, understanding their motivation allows you to negotiate better on your own behalf. Another thing that's really critical, and I talked about this in a previous video, is, do they have the money to even buy the house? A lot of times I see in a for sale by owner situation, a couple will come in, take a tour, talk to the owners, the current owners. Well, they hit it off. They have some friends in common, or they've gone to the same vacation spot, or maybe their kids, went to the same school, something like that, and they've got this little relationship being built. Well, they get a little further down the road, and they've got this friendship, and everybody's excited about, selling the house and moving in, moving out, those types of things. But the buyers all of a sudden can't quite pay that price. Maybe they can't get the loan, or the appraisal came in low, or whatever the case may be. And here you are now at a little bit of a disadvantage. You've built a friendship with these people, and all their hopes and dreams are, going to be in your house. And now they can't afford it. So what do you do? Well, again, you're at a disadvantage, and And you have to decide, are you willing to lower the price? Do you hold firm? Will that make them back out and you have to start over from square one? But knowing at the beginning if they can buy the house and what their financial situation is relative to that is really, really important. I talked about this in another video about one of the easiest ways to do this is get a letter from their lender. Get a pre-qualification or pre-approval letter stating that, yeah, they can buy this house. A lot of times the lender will even put their contact information and you can give them a call and say, hey, listen, I saw that you put in the letter that they can afford, exactly this amount, but could they afford a little bit more? Does it have to be this amount? What if the appraisal comes in low? Anyway, finding out if they can pay for it and what their financial situation is really key in this negotiating. Another thing that's really important in this day and age, and it goes along the lines with negotiating, are you working with a buyer who's at least willing to have conversations when conflicts arise and problems come in the deal? Are they willing to sit down and have a face-to-face or at least a phone conversation and try to work things out? Okay? If you can't sit down with them, there's really no negotiating to be had at all. And I've met a lot of people in this day and age, a lot of maybe younger buyers, but older ones as well, who just don't like confrontation and they don't like dealing with problems. And at the first sign that something's coming up that's not right, or a conflict or a concern, they'd rather just cancel the deal and not have to have that conversation than sit down with you. So, again, when you're getting to know somebody, when you're talking on the phone, when you're doing a showing, get the sense, is this the type of person that when a problem arises is willing to sit down and see if we can work it out, or are they just going to take off and end the deal? Now, lastly, you want to find out, and you will find out really quick, do they have an agent that's helping them? Now, some buyers will kind of hide that a little bit until they put the offer in, and that's okay. That's a tactic that they're going to use. But you're going to want to know, do they have an agent? Now, if they do, be advised that this could put you at a disadvantage. And the reason is this. Of course, you're selling the house. You're holding the cards at this point. You can tell them to take a hike. But your job, you're your own agent. You want to get your house sold. And so, keeping in mind that about 90% of all the best qualified buyers out there have an agent, you might have to do the negotiating with an agent and be at a disadvantage. A good agent has a lot of experience in this. They've done it before many, many times. They're not uncomfortable having difficult conversations. They also understand real estate law to a certain extent, and they should understand that real estate purchase contract. They may put things in there that will work against you later. And maybe not in there because it works against you, but because it works in the favor of their client, the buyer. So understand that you might be a little bit at a disadvantage. If you feel that you are, get somebody to help you. Get a real estate attorney involved and have them look over things and advise you about things and problems before they happen. Okay? And again, like I said in the beginning, knowing this information, knowing about your buyer's motivations is going to help you in negotiating and help you get the most money possible and the best terms and conditions of the sale possible for you. Okay, and now we're going to talk about step number 9, and I'm combining these together today because number 9 is kind of a short one, but very, very important, and that is don't move out of your house, if at all possible, before the sale of your house, okay? An empty house statistically is far more difficult to sell at fair market value than a house that's lived in and furnished, and for a couple of reasons. First, an empty house, it looks forlorn. It looks forgotten. The newspapers are piling up. The weeds are growing. Dust is accumulating inside. Sometimes there's an odor that's not so good. But a house that's lived in, it can stay fresher. You're in the house every day and you can make it look good. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean you can't sell a house that's empty, that's vacant. In some circumstances, like we just talked about, understanding your buyers need to move in fast, it could work to your advantage. but certainly mitigate the problems that a vacant house comes with, okay? Make sure the yard is taken care of. Make sure the cobwebs aren't building up. Make sure the newspapers aren't piling up and the mailbox isn't full, okay? Keep it nice and fresh and smelling good and inviting and appealing to all the buyers who are coming by. Another reason you don't want to have a vacant home and it doesn't sell quite as well is it can send some mixed messages to the buyers. The buyers might take it as, hey, you've already moved out. Financially, you don't need the sale of this house. And so they might be more inclined to send you a lowball offer. Okay. Another message that is very frequent out there is that you've got a new home that you are moving into, and you do need the money for this, and you need it quickly. Again, probably going to result in a lower offer than you were hoping for. So by having the home still lived in, you're able to take care of it a little better, make it more inviting to everybody, and you're going to send a message that you are in a better position to negotiate on the sale of your home. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you got some value out of it. Hope there was some nugget of information that makes selling your house on your own a little easier and a little better for you. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments or send me a direct message, and I promise to respond to everybody as quick as possible. And I hope you will tune into the next video, the final video in this 10-part series on For Sale by Owner Marketing Toolkit. And that is understanding yourself and going into this process of selling your home with the right mindset. Okay? Understanding what you're going to be facing, understanding what you're up against, and understanding what the process is going to involve is going to help you in the long run get your house sold.